It's morning at school. A group of students are chatting about how some guy only hangs out with his girlfriend now. One boy, jealous, swears he'll get the coolest girlfriend in the world. His friend laughs, saying he's been saying that since elementary school. Yuta joins the talk. He also starts thinking about what it would be like to have a girlfriend. He remembers a couple walking down the hallway holding hands. His friend notices him spacing out and asks if he's really never been in love before, because when you fall in love, you can't even sleep. Yuta asks if his friend has ever felt that. He admits he has. Once. He remembers Nodoka Kanzaki. In his memory, she turns to him and says, "Good morning." That short moment makes his heart race. His friend teases him, asking if he's seriously in love with her. He says Nodoka's amazing, smart, kind, and beautiful. But he reminds Yuta that she's on another level. He's just an average guy, while she's like a flower too far to reach. They realize they're late for class and rush off. Later, Yuta's parents, who live abroad, return home earlier than expected. He runs out to buy his little sister's favorite curry. His friend calls him a genuinely nice guy. When he gets home, Yuta finds his sister, Yoru Agatsuma, kneeling at the gate with a strange symbol drawn on the ground. She welcomes him back and proudly says that today she'll summon a demon from the depths of hell. While she's focused on her ritual, Yuta starts thinking again about love and marriage. He wonders if talking to Nodoka more would help him understand what falling in love feels like. Suddenly, Yoru shouts, her magic circle is glowing. She's thrilled that it's working, but Yuta quickly pulls her away, afraid it might explode. A flash of light bursts out, shaking the ground. From the smoke, the lower half of a woman appears, and then a stunning girl floats into view. Yuta stares in shock and blurts out, "Why is there a girl floating in the air?" Yoru screams his name, startled. Yuta rushes to catch the falling girl, accidentally touching her soft skin as he does. She lands safely in his arms. He quickly apologizes, saying he didn't mean to touch her like that. The girl tilts her head, studying him. "Are you really human?" she asks, pinching his cheek. Her face is incredibly cute. She smiles, saying she's glad she finally made it to the human world. Yoru asks if she's a demon. The girl nods and introduces herself as Lars. Yuta is stunned. Yoru celebrates that she actually managed to summon a real demon, but Yuta warns her that demons are dangerous. Yoru argues that not all demons are evil, some are kind. Lars overhears them and smiles. She says she doesn't want to hurt anyone. In fact, she's grateful. "Thank you for summoning me into this world," she says softly. She explains that the human world has become so advanced that hardly anyone summons demons anymore. For her, it's hard to cross over. Ever since she was little, her sister in the demon world told her stories about humans. That's why she always dreamed of coming here. Lars says she's even learned about human culture through the internet. She laughs and mentions watching a drama called Maji Koi. Yoru excitedly says she knows that one. It was really popular a few years ago. Lars gets excited too. In that drama, two strangers sign a contract to be lovers for a year, but they end up truly falling in love. She says she's watched many romances since then and found them beautiful. "I want to experience that," she says. "I want to come to the human world and fall in love." That's my dream, Yuta realizes. They're actually quite similar. They both want to know what love feels like. Suddenly, Lars calls his name. He jumps. She holds out a paper. "This is a contract," she says. "I want you to sign it with me. A love contract." Yuta blinks. "A what?" "It means you'll be my boyfriend," she explains brightly. "No need to read the details. Just sign." He's suspicious. His sister thinks it sounds amazing, but Yuta's still unsure. Lars pouts playfully and says that if he signs, she'll be able to stay in the human world. Yoru gets excited, saying it would be awesome to live with a demon. Yuta hesitates, but then he thinks maybe this could help him learn what love really feels like. So he takes the pen and signs. Lars looks surprised but happy. She reads his name aloud and says it's beautiful. Then she gently takes his hand. "There's one more step," she says. "We need to kiss." Yuta panics. His sister is right there. Instead, Lars bites his finger. "Use your blood to seal the deal," she says. It really is a demon's contract. There are 7 pages to sign, and he fills out each one. When he's done, the air glows. The contract is complete. Lars shines with joy, and Yoru notices a strange mark glowing on Yuta's body. Lars smiles softly. "That mark," she says, "is the proof of our love contract." Lars suddenly gets another idea and steps closer to Yuta, smiling. She says she'll be in his care from now on. Embarrassed, he asks her not to call him with cute nicknames, reminding her that he only signed the contract on impulse. He starts wondering what else was written in that contract that he didn't get to read. Yoru cheers and congratulates her brother for actually going through with it. Then Lars surprises him by asking him out on a date. Even though it's already nighttime, she wants to see the human world as soon as possible. Without waiting for an answer, she gets ready, spreads her wings, and flies into the sky, carrying Yuta in her arms. Yoru shouts after them, saying she bought curry for dinner and he'll have to cook it himself. But she wishes them a fun trip. On the streets, Lars is amazed by everything she sees. She runs from shop to shop, fascinated by all the cute clothes on display. She shows Yuta a dress she finds adorable. He looks at the price tag and nearly chokes. It's way too expensive. When he tells her, she sighs and gives up on the idea. Then she notices another item that catches her eye. It's underwear. She tells him that in her world, they only have black ones, so she's curious about the colorful ones here. Excited, she runs off to try some on. Yuta blushes, realizing this is the first time he's gone shopping like this with a girl. It's overwhelming, but he admits she acts surprisingly human and even kind of cute. Then he spots Nodoka Kanzaki in the same store. Panic hits him. If she sees him here with a girl like Lars, it would be a disaster. He hurries to hide, accidentally opening a fitting room door. Inside, Lars is already half-dressed in her underwear. Both of them freeze in shock. He stumbles forward, falling right into her chest. To stop himself from falling, his hands land there too. Flustered, he jumps back, stammering apologies. But Lars only giggles and says he doesn't waste any time. He blushes harder, realizing it's the first time he's ever seen a girl's body in person. Suddenly, Lars pulls the curtain closed. "Look at me properly," she says softly. "When a demon shows their mark, it means love. And when a man kisses that mark, it means he'll love her until the end." Yuta stares, unsure what "until the end" really means. Lars gazes at him with warm, affectionate eyes. Just then, a store employee calls out from outside, asking if she's chosen the right size. The curtain shifts slightly, and the employee freezes after catching a glimpse of them together. Yuta's heart pounds. He remembers what Lars said about the mark meaning love. Could she already be in love with him? It's terrifying. They just met. Lars notices his red face and teases him for being embarrassed. Before he can respond, two rough-looking guys bump into Lars. They glare at her and ask if she's looking for a fight. Yuta quickly steps forward, saying they were the ones who bumped into her first. One of the bullies grabs Yuta by the collar, sneering that he's trying to act tough. Then he punches him, saying he's jealous. Lars yells his name, frightened. The thugs laugh and tell her to forget the weak guy and come have fun with them instead. Yuta clenches his fists. He says this is wrong. He doesn't even know why he's doing this, but his anger builds. He yells, "Don't touch my girlfriend!" and swings at the bully. The man easily dodges it and laughs, calling Yuta weak. Then he turns to Lars again. Her eyes glow. "What did you just do to my beloved?" she says coldly. She points her fingers at them. The bullies stop laughing. Suddenly, one attacks the other, and the two start brawling like wild animals. Yuta stares, horrified. "What did you do to them?" Lars smiles. "I'm a demon of wrath," she explains. "I can control human anger." Yuta is stunned. She continues, "If I got serious, I could make everyone in this world furious. That would mean the end of everything." He's terrified now, realizing how dangerous she could be. But Lars reassures him, smiling sweetly. "Don't worry, I won't do anything, unless you cheat on me." She leans closer. This is only the beginning. Anyone who signs a love contract can't date another human while it's active. Yuta gulps. "Hypothetically, how could the contract be cancelled?" Lars answers calmly. "For that to happen, the contractor would have to lose their life." Yuta freezes. He's just a normal guy. He only wanted a girlfriend and a happy life. Now he's tied to a demon who could destroy the world. Panicking, he runs home, thinking Yoru might know what to do. When he arrives, Yoru rushes to him. "We've got a problem," she says. The magic circle started glowing again. Lars appears behind him and smiles. "Oh, perfect. Everyone's arriving." "Everyone?" Yuta asks, confused. She nods. "You signed 7 love contracts, remember? So there will be 7 of us." Yuta's face goes pale. "Wait, 7!" One by one, the other demon girls appear. Bree, the demon of greed. Luvia, the demon of pride. Sloth, the demon of sloth. Lust, the demon of lust. Levi, the demon of envy. Belle, the demon of gluttony. Each one greets him warmly, thanking him for summoning them. Stunned, Yuta asks about the rule that forbids multiple relationships. Lars smiles and says, "That only applies to humans. You can have as many demon girlfriends as you like." Yuta sighs in frustration. "You could have told me that earlier." He mutters that he's never been in love before, and now he has to love 7 girls at once. What started as a dream has turned into a nightmare. 7 girlfriends, each powerful enough to destroy the world. The next morning, Yuta wakes up in bed. For a moment, he hopes it was all just a dream. But as he goes downstairs, he remembers cooking curry for a bunch of people last, and his hands still hurt. Then Lars greets him cheerfully, followed by the other demon girls. Lust wishes him good morning. Sloth yawns, saying she's still sleepy. Bree teases him for waking up late. Luvia scolds him for being lazy. Levi reminds him that everyone's already eaten, but Lee whines that she's still hungry. Yuta realizes they're all living in his house now. They explain they're all daughters of Lena, a higher demon. They weren't born from her body but share her essence, so they've been together since birth. A precious family. Lars tells Yuta to treat them kindly. Yuta, overwhelmed, can't even remember all their names. Yoru laughs and says she'll make name tags for everyone. Lars then asks if there's a good restaurant nearby. Yoru suggests a Japanese one, though it's a bit far. Yuta watches them chat and realizes how easily his sister has gotten used to having demons around. It's hard to believe these girls could destroy the world. Still, he can't shake the feeling that something's not right. Before he can think further, one of the girls leans close and says he looks too serious. His face turns red as she teases him, asking how he plans to handle living with 7 girls. Bree laughs and says, "If you ever have a problem, just come to me. I'll take care of it." Yuta starts feeling embarrassed again. He wonders if the girl in front of him is the older sister. Then the girl makes a request. She asks him to lend her some money from the human world. Yuta gives her 1,000 yen, everything he has. With that, the matter seems settled, and they all decide to go to the restaurant together. Yuta looks at the table and realizes that all the girls have disappeared. He's the only one left behind. He starts to question whether their wish to experience love was even real. Maybe it was all just an excuse. Maybe the contract was a lie. Feeling desperate, he even wonders if his house has become the base of world destruction. But then someone catches his attention. A girl nearby asks him to be quiet because she's trying to sleep. Then she calls him over. Yuta, still exhausted from everything that happened, walks toward her. The girl takes his hand, pulls him close, and hugs him, pressing his face against her chest. She tells him his body is perfect to use as a pillow. Yuta thinks her body feels soft and warm, but he's also being suffocated. He tries to move, but she's too strong. The girl says the deeper he sleeps, the faster his spirit will recover. Yuta looks up at her, gasping for air, until he finally starts squirming and trying to get free by gently pushing her away. The pressure weakens, and he manages to escape. He apologizes, saying he couldn't breathe properly. Then he notices he's holding something and asks what it is. Turns out it's the strap from Slow's outfit. And it broke. Embarrassed, she quickly asks him to give it back. Awkwardly, Yuta apologizes again. Slow blushes and says they should wait a little longer before doing things like that. But she also thanks him. Yuta looks a bit more cheerful now. As he thought, Slow was just trying to cheer him up. She tells him to relax because they're not the kind of demons he's imagining. Still confused, Yuta says it's strange to be the boyfriend of 7 demons at once. Slow finds that funny. Yuta then asks why he was chosen out of all the humans in the world. Slow explains, when Lars appeared, Yuta protected his sister, and there are no bad people who protect their family. Yuta asks if that's really the only reason. Slow says yes because Lars has a recording device inside her, and that's how they know. She adds that it's important to them that Yuta isn't a bad person who would abuse their powers. She also says they wouldn't destroy the world. That would just be boring. Then she sums things up. The 7 of them came to the human world because they wanted to experience love. Yuta is surprised and asks if Slow wants that too. She blushes and starts to answer, but falls asleep mid-conversation. She was that tired. Yuta looks at her, wondering what to do next. Suddenly, he gets a call from his sister, Yoru. She sounds panicked and says something terrible has happened, telling him to come right away. When Yuta arrives at the restaurant, he finds out what happened. They all ate a lot, but no one has money to pay. Most of the food was ordered by Bree, and the total bill comes to 50,000 yen. Yuta realizes he's basically being used as a walking wallet now. The waitress asks if there's any adult he can call. Yuta sighs, thinking back to Slow's words. She didn't seem like the type to lie. He doesn't know what to do. Yoru says she'll pay with her salary, but needs them to wait a little longer. Looking tired, Yuta says that since this whole mess started because of him, he'll take responsibility. Then Gree steps forward and asks where the bill is. She takes out 60,000 yen from her wallet and hands it to the waitress. She says she earned it from gambling, using the 1,000 yen Yuta lent her earlier. She also returns the money she borrowed, saying it'll cover all 7 girls' expenses. Another girl asks what all the noise is about. One of the demon girls apologizes for bothering him, while another scolds the others. All of them then walk up to Yuta and apologize together. One offers him some food from the restaurant as a gift. Then, still apologizing, they hug him. Gree says she'll handle the bill, and Yuta remembers what Slow said. Maybe these girls really don't have bad intentions after all. Suddenly, his classmate, Kanzaki, shows up at his house, wearing cute clothes. Curious, the girls ask who she is. Yuta explains she's his classmate. Lars immediately introduces herself as Yuta's girlfriend. Kanzaki is shocked to hear that, and even more surprised when two more girls also call themselves his girlfriends. Kanzaki can't believe it when one of them says there are actually 7 girlfriends in total. Yuta nervously tries to explain, saying there's a reason behind it. Then he ushers them all back inside, saying they can talk about it another time. Kanzaki just stands there, still thinking about that 7 girlfriends comment. She looks back at Yuta's house, still puzzled. Inside, Yuta wonders if his classmate now hates him because of that situation. Then the doorbell rings. Yuta opens the door and sees a woman's silhouette. It's Kanzaki again. She says he forgot his lunch, so she came to return it. Yuta panics, having no idea how to explain the situation to her. His sister loudly announces that his classmate is here and suggests they invite her for tea. Yuta hesitates, saying it might bother Kanzaki since she's busy, but Kanzaki agrees. The two of them go upstairs together. At the table, Yuta can't believe Kanzaki is sitting in his house. One of the girlfriends peeks at them through a crack in the door. Another asks why they can't join, but the first girl reminds her that Kanzaki is Yuta's guest, not theirs. Jealous, the girl grumbles about it. Slow suddenly wakes up and asks where her body pillow went. At the dining table, Kanzaki asks Yuta how he met his 7 girlfriends. Yuru remembers that her brother told her to keep it a secret that the girls are demons. She wonders how he's going to explain it. Yuta is sweating nervously, because telling the truth might be too dangerous. Suddenly, there's a loud crash. Yuta runs over to where the girls are to tell them to quiet down. But what he sees shocks him. 2 girls are tangled up on the floor. He demands to know what happened while he was gone. Slow says Yuta is incredibly huggable, which makes the other girls jealous. One of them complains that they're acting like spoiled children. Another points out that Lars has always been jealous of Slow, and now that jealousy has shifted toward Yuta. Yuta steps between them, telling them to stop fighting. But before he can calm things down, strange things start happening. Objects float into the air, even Kanzaki's teacup. She screams in surprise. Yuta remembers the rule from their contract. He must love all of them equally. The thought shocks him. Slow sarcastically comments that Lars still has the same explosive temper. Lars gets even angrier, and a bunch of objects fly toward Yuta. The girls panic and rush over to check on him. 2 of them fall right on top of him. Yuta realizes their awkward position, and both girls blush. He quickly apologizes again. Then they hear another noise. Tea spills all over Kanzaki, soaking her clothes. Yuta rushes to check if she's burned. He decides to tell her the truth about everything. Lars and Slow both apologize, and Kanzaki listens to the whole story, about the contracts and how it all started because of Yoru. Instead of being angry, Kanzaki is amazed. She says it's incredible that demons actually exist. Lars desperately asks her to forgive them, but Kanzaki just smiles and says it's fine. Then sneezes. In Yoru's room, Kanzaki changes into one of her spare outfits. Lars says that's better than catching a cold. Yoru shows her a dress, but Kanzaki is too shy to wear her clothes. Lars asks what her boyfriend, Yuta, is like at school. Kanzaki thinks for a moment, then says Yuta takes classes seriously, does all his homework, and is kind to everyone. Hearing that, Lars smiles, saying she imagined he'd be that way. She thanks Kanzaki for being his friend. Kanzaki reflects on that word, friend. Lars says she wishes she could experience a school life, like the ones she sees in dramas. As Kanzaki leaves, she thanks them for lending her the shirt. Yuta tries to say something, but she stops him, saying it's okay. She won't tell anyone about the demons. She also says she looks forward to getting along with them. One of the girlfriends remarks that Kanzaki seems really nice and even complimented Yuta, but refuses to say what she said exactly. Yuta chases after her, demanding to know. Meanwhile, Kanzaki walks through the streets thinking that Yuta didn't really seem like a guy dating 7 girls at once. She remembers the story about the love contracts and wonders if the number of his girlfriends will keep increasing. Back at home, Yuta holds a meeting with his demon girlfriends. He reminds them not to use their powers or fight. One of the girls asks about something he said earlier, that this had already happened before. She explains that once Yuta accidentally knocked her over, Embarrassed, he insists it was an accident. Now the other girls look at him. Jealous. They all say they want to be knocked over by him too. Yuta sighs, realizing his future will be very difficult. These demons might be powerful enough to destroy the world, but they've ended up making love contracts instead. Later, everyone relaxes at home watching mukbang videos online. They chat happily and seem to enjoy life in the human world. Even if it isn't exactly love, they're all living together. And Yuta thinks it'd be nice if they could get along. One of the girls lectures Bree about using up too many household supplies. Bree looks annoyed. She had spent nearly 1,000 yen just on food that week. The other girl says if Bree wants to eat that much, she needs to get a job. Then she calls Yuta over and asks what kind of job Bree should do. She lists ideas, maybe a maid, or even a bunny girl at a casino. Embarrassed, Yuta says they should think of something more normal. Bree listens carefully to him, then suddenly runs off. Yuta follows her upstairs. To him, Belle, the gluttony demon, is the hardest to read. She rarely shows emotion. When he enters her room, he hears her saying she doesn't want to work. She quotes, "If you don't work, you don't eat," and asks why Yuta is so eager to work. She says that if she works, she'll just get hungry. And she's already hungry, even after eating. She's always hungry. Yuta points out that, even so, you need money to eat. That frustrates her. He adds that food tastes better when you've worked for it. Belle says he doesn't understand her at all. She explains that every demon has unique traits. The others can control theirs, but she can't. Her hunger is constant because her power affects her body. The same thing happens with Slow, who's always sleepy. Yuta realizes that even demons have personal struggles. Still, he says, they need money to eat. As he's standing close, he notices how cute she looks. Then Belle says she'll make him understand what her hunger feels like. She suddenly lunges forward and touches his forehead. Yuta remembers that Lars did something similar before. Right away, he feels something strange. His stomach turns empty, his mind filled with hunger. Belle asks if he understands now how unbearable it is. Desperate, Yuta says he just needs something, anything, to eat. Without thinking, he grabs Belle's leg and bites it. Shocked, she yells, asking what he's doing. Yuta, dizzy with hunger, says his body is moving on its own. All he can notice is how soft her thighs are. Belle blushes slightly. Then two other girlfriends open the door after hearing the noise and are completely shocked by what they see. Lars's eyes fill with tears. Jealous, she tackles Yuta and Belle, crying that she feels betrayed. Yuta doesn't know what to do. Lars presses his head between her thighs and says he can do whatever he wants. Another girl teases, asking if bare thighs wouldn't be better. Annoyed, Yuta says he has no interest in thighs and tells Belle to come with him. They leave the house and walk together through the city streets. He says home isn't the right place to talk seriously. As they walk, they hold hands. Belle looks at their hands and quietly says she realizes something. It's wrong to rely only on greed for money. She needs to earn her own, but she's scared to work among humans. Yuta understands. It's their first time living in the human world after. He thinks about how he'd feel if he had to work in the demon world. Belle might be a demon, but emotionally she's just like a normal girl. Yuta apologizes for being harsh and says he'll help her find a place where she can work comfortably. Belle was touched by Yuta's kindness. Together they walked around the city looking for job openings. After a while, they stopped near a restaurant where Kanzaki was cleaning the sidewalk. "Yuta, what are you doing here?" she asked. He smiled a bit awkwardly. "Actually, we're looking for a job for Belle." Kanzaki thanked Belle for always visiting her shop and said one of her workers had just quit. Yuta's eyes lit up. "Really? Then maybe Belle can work here." Kanzaki smiled. "That would be great. Meals are included too." Belle hesitated at first, but quickly agreed once she heard about the meals. "Okay, I'll take it." The deal was made. Yuta promised to visit her at work with the others sometime. Belle gently pulled on his sleeve and said softly, "Thank you, Yuta. You really helped me." He blushed and scratched his head. "It's nothing special." When they returned home, Lars immediately asked with a jealous tone, "Where were you two?" Yuta laughed nervously. "We've found a job for Belle." Everyone was happy for her, but soon Bree and Slow began arguing about who would sleep next to Yuta that night. While they fought, he quietly slipped away to take a shower. On the way to the bathroom, Yuta suddenly froze. Lust was standing there calmly. Lust, do you need the bathroom?" he asked nervously. Without moving, she crossed her legs and said softly, "Kiss me." Yuta's face turned bright red. What? What did you say?" Still calm, Lust repeated, "Please kiss me." Completely flustered, Yuta stammered, "A kiss isn't something you do suddenly. There are steps to follow first." Lust lowered her head. "I'm sorry, that was inappropriate of me." Then she quietly turned and walked away. That night, lying in bed, Yuta couldn't stop thinking about her words. He realized Lust hadn't been joking. She really wanted to kiss him. Maybe he'd been too harsh. Before falling asleep, he decided he would talk to her the next day. When morning came, Yuta noticed something strange. He couldn't move. For a moment, he thought he was paralyzed, until he realized 3 demon girls were sleeping around him. One was hugging his arm, another was lying on top of him, and the third was holding his leg. The first one to wake up smiled sleepily. "Good morning, Yuta," he yelled. "We agreed to sleep separately." In the kitchen, Yura was surprised to see her brother awake so early. Soon after, Lust walked in, already dressed. "I'll be going out," she said calmly. "Out? This early?" Yura asked. Lust didn't answer and left. At the restaurant, Kanzaki looked surprised when Lust appeared. "Lust? We're not open yet. I wanted to ask you something," Lust said politely. Kanzaki tilted her head. "What is it?" Lust looked serious. "In the dramas I've watched, couples start kissing as soon as they start dating. Is that normal for humans?" Kanzaki blushed. "Of course not. That's just TV. In Japan, a kiss has real meaning here. It's not something you do right away." Lust nodded slowly. "I understand. Thank you." Kanzaki then asked, "Why didn't you ask Yoru instead?" Lust smiled faintly. "Because I knew you would give me an honest answer." Then she spread her wings and flew away, leaving Kanzaki speechless. Later that morning, Yuta was on his way to school, still thinking about Lust's request. His friend Ryota ran up to him. "Hey, you've been avoiding me lately. Don't tell me you got a girlfriend." Yuta laughed awkwardly. "Something like that." On their way to class, they saw Sato kissing a girl in public. Ryota groaned and ran off, upset. Yuta was stunned. Sato was usually so shy. Then Kanzaki came running up, out of breath. "Yuta, something strange is happening. Everyone in town is kissing and hugging. Even my parents." She explained that she thought Lust might have something to do with it. Each of her sisters has her own power, right? Maybe Lust's powers went out of control. After school, Yuta hurried home. The demon girls were watching the news. Reports showed people all over Japan acting overly affectionate. Rubia crossed her arms. "This has gotten serious." Yuta frowned. "Don't tell me this is Lust's power." Before anyone could reply, Slow and Belle suddenly jumped on him, hugging him tightly. "What are you doing?" Yuta shouted. The other girls rushed to pull them away. Gree looked worried. "It's Lust's influence. Even we're being affected." Rubia nodded. "Her powers must be unstable. If this keeps up, the whole city could lose control." Yuta glanced toward Lust's locked room. "Then we have to stop her. Before it's too late." Desperate, Yuta asked what started the chaos and how they could stop it. Gree crossed her arms, thinking hard. "It probably began because Lust's desires weren't fulfilled. She must have lost control." A cut shows Lust locked in her room, surrounded by red light. Her magic is spiraling wildly, shaking the air. "She's completely unstable," Rubia said. "We need to bring her back before it gets worse." Then she turned to Yuta. "What do you think, Yuta?" Before he could answer, Gree added, "Remember that family crest? It's also a kind of gauge. It shows how much affection the contractor, meaning you, has for the demon." She revealed a glowing mark on her shoulder. When the contractor's affection fades, so does the mark. And if it disappears completely, Rubia finished her sentence, serious, then the demon loses control of her powers. That's what's happening to Lust. Yuta frowned. "Wait, so it's because of me?" Rubia nodded. "Probably. There's a small clause in the contract about this, but it was written backward. You wouldn't have been able to notice. It's an extremely rare case." Gree hesitated. "Still, I don't think Lust is just desperate for affection. It feels deeper than that." Her words hung heavy in the air. Yuta looked down, unsure. "So that's what she really wants from me." He looked at the girls. "You're all okay with this?" Rubia sighed. "We don't mind. Only you can bring Lust back to normal." Gree nodded. "Just give her a strong hug and a passionate kiss. That should calm her power." She added with a smirk, "Honestly, the whole city looks like Lust's heart right now, full of people showing affection." Rubia frowned. "Don't go too far. You should only do those things with me." But after a moment, even she softened. "Still, Lust is suffering. You have to help her." Yuta took a deep breath. "I understand." The girls wished him luck as he walked toward Lust's room. He thought to himself, a quick hug and kiss should be enough, right? But his heart pounded. He wasn't sure if he could really do it. Inside the room, Lust was lying in bed, asleep. When Yuta stepped closer, her eyes slowly opened. She could sense his presence. He froze. Her clothes were messy, and she looked exhausted. "Lust?" he stammered. "Are you okay? Can you hear me?" He noticed the faint glow of her crest. It was almost gone. There was no time to waste. "I'm sorry," Lust said weakly. Her voice trembled. Yuta realized she was feeling deeply guilty. "Why are you apologizing?" he asked softly. She looked down. "Because I caused all this trouble. I misunderstood humans." I thought couples started kissing right away. Yuta blinked, surprised by her honesty. I learned I was wrong after visiting Kanzaki, Lust continued. She told me that kisses are special. And because they're special, people don't share them so easily. Her eyes grew sad. I was too forward. Yuta smiled gently. It's okay. But Lust shook her head. No, when I came home that day, I overheard the others saying you'd never kissed anyone before. I was sure you had. I thought I was the only one left behind. Now Yuta finally understood. He had always thought Lust was the most mature, calm, confident, experienced, but deep down she just wanted to be accepted like everyone else. Quietly, he stepped forward and wrapped his arms around her. Lust gasped. Yuta. He held her tighter. I wanted to do this. I wanted to hug you. Her heart pounded against his chest. Inside, Yuta was embarrassed to say such things out loud, but he pushed through. I might not understand everything about being your contractor, but I can't stand seeing you in pain, so I'll work hard. I'll make sure you never have to cry again. Lust's eyes widened. Then, for the first time in a while, she smiled faintly. Thank you, Yuta. The glow of her crest suddenly brightened and returned to its full shape. Yuta realized it had been on a very sensitive part of her body, and quickly looked away, face red. Sorry, he blurted. Lust also blushed. It's fine, I'm sorry for that part being exposed. Yuta rubbed the back of his neck. We didn't even kiss, but the crest came back. Guess that means she's satisfied, he thought. Lust called softly. Yuta, I'm sorry again. He smiled. I'm partly to blame too. She nodded. Then let's make sure this doesn't happen again. She stepped closer. I'll do my best from now on, she said with a determined smile, leaving Yuta both confused and flustered. Meanwhile, the other demon girls were waiting impatiently. Slow yawn. What's taking Lust so long? Then Lust appeared in the doorway, calm and smiling. The others instantly realized she was back to normal. At that same moment, Yuta's phone rang. It was Kanzaki. Yuta, my parents are back to normal. The whole town's acting fine again. That's great, Yuta said, relieved. I'll explain everything later. I'm kind of busy right now. Kanzaki sounded confused. Busy? With what?
Hey guys, sorry for mid-editing, but I noticed a lot of you are watching my videos without subscribing. Our subscribe ratio is literally close to 0. I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. Thanks. Now, back to the recap.
He hung up gently, smiling to himself. Back home, Yuta told Yoru everything that happened. She listened carefully, then nodded. So it really was demonic power causing all that chaos. Yeah, Yuta said. Then he narrowed his eyes. By the way, why did you come home so late? Yoru froze, looking guilty. That's a long story. Yoru explained that the president of the Dark Magic Club told them to perform a calming ritual. She rolled her eyes. As if something like that would actually work. At that moment, chaos broke out again. The demon girls were arguing over who would sleep beside Yuta. He sighed. Seriously, we're doing this again? Lust crossed her arms. I'll be the one sleeping with Yuta tonight. The others immediately shouted back, saying Lust already had her chance. Lust snapped. Oh, please, he slept beside you all last night. Yuta froze for a second, finally realizing what Lust meant earlier, when she said she'd do her best. Then Levy smiled sweetly and leaned toward him. Yuta tilde. Did you do anything indecent with Lust? His face turned red. Of course not, I didn't do anything. Levy tilted her head playfully. Oh, then don't you want to do those things with me instead? He choked on his words, flustered. What are you even talking about? She grinned, lowering her voice. You know, what lovers do in bed to deepen their love. Do I really have to explain it? Yuta froze, thinking about what she said. Then he quickly let go of her hand. No way. That's not happening. After all, the most he'd ever done was hug Lust. Anything more would definitely be too much. He turned and said firmly, Dinner's ready, let's go. Levy frowned, clearly disappointed, but she followed quietly. Later that night, Yuta lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. I mean, I'm a high school guy. Of course I think about that kind of thing, he admitted to himself. Then he heard a noise. His heart jumped. Is that Levy again? He thought, imagining her sneaking into his room and climbing on top of him, whispering about deepening their love. But it was just his chair creaking. He sighed and lay back down, closing his eyes. His mind drifted to the past few days, especially what happened with Lust. The next morning, Yuta found himself surrounded by the demon girls again. Even on my day off, I can't get anything done, he muttered. Lust raised an eyebrow. Are you complaining about us? He quickly denied it. No, I'm just saying. He noticed that Levy hadn't teased him since last night. Maybe she was just messing with me, he thought. Just then, Lars burst into the room. Hey, stop clinging to him before I even got a turn. The contract says everything has to be fair. She hugged Yuta tightly. He sighed. She's right. The contract does require equality. I can't do something with one of them without the others knowing. Suddenly, Levy appeared at the door. Yuta, your sister's calling you. Oh, okay, he said, standing up. They walked downstairs together. Maybe it's about that power outage last night, Yuta said. When they reached the first floor, he looked around. So, where's Yoru? Levy pointed. Try checking the closet. Yuta frowned. There's no way she's in the... Before he could finish, Levy pushed him into the closet and slammed the door shut. What? He froze as the small space went dark, and then Levy climbed on top of him. Hey, open the door, he shouted, trying to push it. It's locked, Levy said with a sly smile. With magic. Why did you lie about Yoru? Because, she whispered, her eyes glowing faintly, I want to do naughty things with you. Yuta's heart almost stopped. She's serious this time. Levy continued. When I heard you and Lust kissed, I was shocked. Lust even said she wanted to go further, so now I won't hold back anymore. Her words left Yuta completely overwhelmed. You want to do it too, right? She teased. You're surrounded by beautiful girls every day. Don't pretend you don't think about it. Wait, Yuta stammered. We can't. The contract says everything has to be equal. Levy giggled. That's true, but I'm a demon. Why would I care about following human rules? Yuta's eyes widened. The others will find out. I don't care. Levy cut him off. You already did it with Lust. I want to monopolize you for myself. Yuta was trapped, literally. He tried to move, but Levy pressed her body against his back. Before he could react, she kissed the glowing contract mark on his lower back. The mark flared, and instantly the other demon girls across the house felt it. They dropped what they were doing, all furious. Moments later, Lust burst into the closet. Levy, what are you doing? Lars glared at Yuta. Did you two... No, nothing happened, Yuta shouted, panicking. But when he tried to move closer to them, he noticed something strange. Lars, Rubia, and Belle couldn't come near him. They stepped back, confused and tense. What's wrong? He asked. Rubia crossed her arms. We can't get close to you. It's like there's a barrier. Yuta blinked. A barrier? Rubia frowned. Levy's kiss must have done something. Come with me. She grabbed his hand. Surprisingly, she could touch him, and pulled him away. Yuta was still lost. Why can you touch me and they can't? Because I'm Pride, Rubia said simply. My magic resists that kind of control. She led him outside. We'll talk somewhere private. Yuta's mind spun. What's going on? Rubia looked serious. Did Levy kiss you anywhere on your body? Yuta blushed. Why does that matter? Because her kiss isn't just a kiss, Rubia explained. It's a binding spell. One that lets her monopolize her contractor for a limited time. Yuta froze. Monopolize me? She nodded. Basically, she marked you as hers. Until the spell wears off, none of us can get close. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Rubia sighed. Don't panic, we'll figure it out once your energy stabilizes. For now, going home would just make things worse. Before they could say more, Kanzaki appeared nearby. Ah, Yuta, Rubia, are you two okay? She asked, blinking. You're not, looking for somewhere private, are you? Yuta turned red. No, things just went wrong and I can't go home right now. Kanzaki tilted her head. You can use my room then. They followed her upstairs. As she opened the door, she smiled nervously. I'll be nearby if you need anything. Inside, Yuta looked around. Unlike Yoru's messy room, this one's clean and smells nice. When the door shut, Rubia turned sharply toward him. Where exactly did she kiss you? He hesitated. On my back, kind of near my hips. Outside, Kanzaki lingered by the door, torn between curiosity and guilt. Should I peek, she wondered? What could they possibly be talking about that's so private? Unless, no way. They're not actually doing something, right? She shook her head. No, Agitsuma-kun would never do that. Inside the room, Rubia supports Yuta and lifts his shirt to check his back. After a moment, she finds the mark she was looking for. Pressing close against him, she tells him to look in the mirror. Placing her hands on his side, she asks him to find the mark near his hip. Yuta yells that it's a sensitive spot, but there really is a tattoo just above his waist. They both look at it together, their bodies close. Meanwhile, Kanzaki watches through the door, shocked to see them using her mirror for something that looks indecent. Finally able to see the mark, Yuta asks what it is, realizing it's the same one all the demon girls have. Rubia explains that, just like their body pillows, Yuta now carries the seal of the demon contract. She says that if a demon kisses that mark, it activates a curse that keeps the other demon girls from getting close to him. Confused, Yuta points out that Rubia and Lust were still able to approach him. Rubia explains that it's only because her magic, and Lust's, is stronger than Levy's. She then shows him a chart with all 7 demon girls and says their powers are ranked, with hers near the top. If the contract isn't complete, the stronger demons can still approach him. Still unsure, Yuta asks how that affects the love contract, since it says everything must be shared equally. Rubia uses lust as an example, saying the outbreak of lustful magic last time was a side effect of the ancient love contracts. Spells meant to pull 2 partners together by force. Levy simply used one of those old spells, even though it hasn't been cast in ages. And because she's a demon, she used it in broad daylight instead of waiting for everyone to sleep. Yuta thinks about Levy, the demon of jealousy. Even though the body pillow contract is supposed to be fair, demons of love don't always follow rules. He remembers that Levy herself said as much. Rubia warns him that from now on, all of them will want to claim him for themselves. Yuta is left speechless. Outside the door, Kanzaki listens carefully. When Yuta nervously asks if Rubia also wants him, she turns red and looks away, unsure how to answer. Then, pretending to be angry, she demands that he kneel. Yuta wonders if he said something wrong. Looking proud, Rubia asks if he really thinks a beautiful woman like her would want him. Then she grabs his collar and says he should feel honored, because yes, it's true. The magnificent Rubia-sama does want him all to herself. Yuta blushes, admitting to himself that she really is beautiful. Still gripping his shirt, Rubia tells him to call her beautiful Rubia. Outside, Kanzaki is stunned by the whole scene. When Yuta hesitates, Rubia yells at him to say it already. Embarrassed, he mumbles that it's too awkward to say. Rubia freezes for a moment, and Yuta accidentally slips, letting out a shout. Kanzaki bursts into the room, catching them in the middle of the mess. Covering her eyes, Kanzaki scolds them for doing such things in her room. Yuta hurriedly apologizes and explains everything about the monopoly spell and the contract curse. Kanzaki looks completely stunned. Yuta tells her not to worry and that he won't cause more trouble. She awkwardly nods and says it's fine. As they leave, she wonders if she's being left out and sighs, thinking it must be tough living surrounded by demons. Maybe, she thinks, he should try dating a human instead, but quickly shakes the thought off, knowing Yuta gets along with everyone. Later, back at his apartment, Yuta sits on the couch telling one of the demon girls that he only caused more problems for Kanzaki. The girl apologizes sweetly, saying she won't do anything like that again. Another demon girl says she doesn't believe her, but Yuta can't stop thinking about this whole monopoly thing. He thought things were going well with all of them. Then he notices Rubia sitting on the floor watching him silently, looking annoyed. He thinks to himself that she probably hates him now. Yuru walks in with her phone, showing a picture of Gree. Lars asks if Rubia is watching that soap opera again, but Rubia is distracted, her eyes fixed on Yuta in the living room. Her friend teases that Rubia is a big fan of romance dramas, and Rubia awkwardly agrees. Lars jokes that they should watch a steamier one with lots of bedroom scenes, but Rubia snaps and refuses harshly. The next morning, Slow walks into the kitchen and asks Belle where Gree went. Belle says Gree went out to take care of something. Slow wonders what she's up to. Belle asks if Slow doesn't want a job too and adds that the food is delicious. The following day, while walking through Tokyo with Yoru, Yuta spots Gree at a cafe surrounded by girls. Curious, he wonders what's going on. Gree is charming and playful, teasing the girls and asking if they want to learn the secret of being popular. 2 stylish servers greet Yuta and Yoru, welcoming them to Cafe Amalant. Yuta explains that he came because he saw a picture of Gree online and thought she might be here. Seeing him, Gree excuses herself from the girls and approaches him with a bright smile, calling him her dear gentleman. Yuta blushes at her words. They sit down as tea is served. Gree asks what brings him there and if he and Yoru like this kind of place. Yuta denies it quickly, saying he only came because he found her photo online. With a teasing smile, Gree says that mysterious girls are the most fascinating, don't you think? Yuta admits he can never read her real intentions. Finally, he asks what kind of cafe this is. Gree explains that it's a concept cafe where customers can relax and talk with girls dressed like handsome guys. Yuta is surprised such a place even exists. Gree points to Yoru, laughing that his little sister seems to be enjoying herself with the staff. Yuta asks Gree what made her want to work at a place like this. Gree smiles and says there are many interesting ways to make a living in the human world, and this cafe is special. A place where human desire and greed meet. If she has to earn money, she might as well do it somewhere entertaining. Yuta thinks how perfectly that fits the demon of greed. Curious, he asks if that's what she meant earlier when she talked about the secret to popularity. Gree laughs, teasing him for actually wanting to know. Before she can explain, someone calls out to her. A girl from across the room asks if Gree isn't coming back soon. Standing up, Gree takes the girl's hands and apologizes for being apart from her, promising that her feelings won't change. With sparkling eyes, the girl agrees to wait. Gree smiles warmly and returns to Yuta's table. She asks if he saw that, saying that is the secret. Yuta sighs and says it just sounded like a bunch of embarrassing lines. Gree laughs and tells him that if he says those things carelessly, he might end up in trouble, like what happened with Lust. She points out that Lust almost lost control because of that kind of emotional overload. Yuta admits he's been thinking the same thing. If one of the girls wants him too much, it'll break the balance again, just like before. They managed to calm things down last time, but if it happens again, he has no idea what would happen. Worried, he asks Gree what he should do. She grins, calling him cute even when he's serious. Holding his hands gently, she says it's complicated, but also simple. He just needs to give each girl what she truly wants. That way they'll feel loved and satisfied. But Yuta looks puzzled. He wonders what they really want. Thinking back to what Gree told that customer earlier, he realizes those were probably the same words Gree herself wanted to hear. The effect was instant. He then thinks about himself. It's hard to say what he'd want to hear in return, so he asks her what to say when you don't know what the other person wants. Before she can answer, someone suddenly yells Gree's name. The entire cafe goes quiet. Someone tells her to hide. Quickly, a girl bursts in, shouting in disappointment that Gree isn't there. She cries out, asking if the demon girl won't accept her unconditional love. Staff members rush over and drag her away. Yoru, standing nearby, is stunned. She recognizes the girl as one of her own friends, and can't believe she's been coming to this cafe and is obsessed with Gree too. Meanwhile, Gree pulls Yuta into a storage room to hide. The space is tight, forcing them close together. Pressing against him playfully, Gree makes a teasing remark. Yuta awkwardly asks to leave, but Gree wraps her arms around him and says they should stay hidden until things calm down. Her chest presses against him, making him blush. Yuta starts to suspect she put them in this position on purpose. Outside, the love-struck girl keeps shouting Gree's name. Yuta asks if she's a regular. Gree nods, saying the girl always comes during her shifts. Even though Gree gave her everything she wanted and more, the selfish girl still wanted Gree all to herself. Because of that, the cafe management had to stop them from meeting. Yuta still doesn't get it. If Gree makes everyone happy, why did that girl lose control? Gree leans in close and explains softly that he's right. It's the same problem that happened with Lust. If you don't love a person enough, their heart becomes unstable. But if you love them too much, they can also lose control from possessiveness. She tells him to stay quiet and says girls' emotions are complicated. Still, if someone loses control, he just needs to give in to their desires for a while and things will calm down again. Stroking his hair gently, she says she believes he can do that. After all, he managed to satisfy Lust's needs once before. She advises him to do the same next time. Gree smirks and suggests that maybe he should give her what she wants right now. She slowly lifts his shirt, but Yuta refuses. Ignoring him, she playfully pushes herself onto him, saying she taught him so much and deserves better treatment. Trying to think fast, Yuta wonders if he should try doing something just to calm her down. But before he can speak, Gree tells him he's not ready. Without thinking, Yuta hugs her tightly. Gree freezes, surprised by the sudden move. Pulling back slightly, she admits she didn't expect that. Then blushing, she says he didn't quite give her what she wanted, but maybe that counts as the right answer anyway. Opening the storage room door, Gree steps out with a playful smile. Yuta reflects on what she told him, realizing she might be right. Gree adds softly that this is exactly why the demon of wrath chose him in the first place. Later, back home, Yuta collapses onto his bed, exhausted. Lying there, he thinks about everything Gree said about desire. It's been a while since he made the love contract with the 7 demons, and he's still confused by all the things they've done for him, and the affection they show. He finally decides he'll try to be more thoughtful from now on, and make each of them smile more. Staring at the ceiling, he wonders if this is what true love feels like. Rolling from side to side, he admits he's never experienced love before, so he can only guess. Then he thinks about Yoru, who's been acting strangely lately. He decides he'll ask her tomorrow if she's feeling better. The next day, Yoru confronts her friend, saying she saw her at the cafe and asks why she was acting that way. Her friend, the president of the school's dark magic club, doesn't deny it. Instead, she proudly says that she and Gree are destined for each other. Excited, she even shouts that Gree is a demon. Yoru is shocked to realize her friend already knows the truth.